the listeners are gonna skyrocket
Top of the charts?
top of the charts within seconds. The long awaited podcast with the man himself, Cory G.
Wow, that's actually really soothing. It's good.
Did that sound good?
Sounds like you've done it 7 other times.
I was practicing all morning, but it's a pleasure. It's how you feeling?
Good. I'm feeling amazing, especially after this week. Yeah, it woke me up a little bit.
It's wild. It's
Yeah.
wild. Hit the ground running in Australia. We'll get to his. I'm sure Cory will tell us a little recap of how he found himself in the TYG, but it's hit the ground running in Oz. We're there for 12 weeks, and yeah, we had some great success, and then now we're straight into the first ever franchise VIP week in San Diego. But first, before we get to that, Cory, how are you? How's TYG? Tell me, how'd you find yourself in the yard, and how's it been?
I think it was a lot of unknown for both of us.
Mm.
Luckily we had kind of that mutual friend that was able to kind of bridge that gap with the first conversation. And obviously that kind of helps break down some of the barriers when it comes to meeting somebody new. But yeah, it was, a lot of the unknown. And I think for anything, the thing that made this so easy with immersing myself with the team was there was a lot of conversations prior to us officially actually meeting, which I think helped a lot. And a lot of just open, transparent conversations about kind of, our past and how we got to where we are today. And then, how can we make this partnership work? And I think there was a lot of excitement on my end, and I hope there was a lot of excitement on TYG's end. And, the funny thing is it's been just about 4 months now, and it feels like we've known each other for years. I know it's weird to say and very cliche to say because a lot of people say that, but it truly does feel like that.
The biggest playing factor in that is that I think the past for us is quite similar, like PTs, group training, very passionate about group training and delivering a great product to our communities in our spaces. And I think we've both enjoyed the fruits of a healthy and amazing franchise network. And the future and the expectations of what we want to do over the next 5 to 10 years, they aligned. And I think it's funny. I'm sure we can probably put a little video, or a little photo into this video, but I was sitting in the creche of Varsity Lakes, which is our studio in Queensland, and that was the first time we jumped on a Zoom, and it's just I was actually sitting in the high chair, and my computer was sitting on the kid feeding table.
I saw
You saw the photo. And you were in your West Hollywood apartment, and it felt like you were just next door, But I think that recipe there of just aligning with our goals and expectations of each other and of the group fitness industry over the next 5-10 years definitely sped up that process for sure, 100%. What was it like landing in Sydney and walking into the gym, because there was a lot of conversation prior to it, but until you see something and you're in it, it's like, it's mixed emotions, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I was already sold on the vision of the team. And, this cool thing is you being one of the founders, you open yourself up to your team to really make sure that you brought the right people on board. And I remember, even prior to stepping foot in that, just a little pre-story, just having the conversations, I was like, oh, Dan and I are hitting it off. We've got a good relationship here. And it's like, I've got the in. And then it was like, wait a minute. It was like, Dan kind of gave the initial approval and he's like, now you got to go through the other groups. And it was, I was on calls with Tian and I was on calls with Nat.
Yeah.
And then it was on calls with everyone together. And it was like, there was just checklists. And it was funny. I sat back and I was like, I've got a pretty good resume here. Like I'm ready to go. I think we're aligned, but there was a lot of steps to it. And I appreciated that coming a part of the team, knowing that you guys, are moving with caution and you've got something powerful and you got something that's going to be a powerhouse in the fitness industry. And you're really taking your time and making sure that you're vetting out with the individuals that come on board.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's super important. But when we first stepped foot in the studio, which is funny, it's kind of like payback now as you came back to the US
True.
and hit the ground running. I literally got off the flight and went straight into it. And I remember I didn't even have my bags. I didn't even have my bags checked in my hotel. I set them off to the side in the Carambar front of house. And I walk in the back, and you've got Matt, and you've got Mel, and you had a couple other trainers there. And Dan was like, "Oh, you got to come check this out." And it's 9 a.m., whatever time it was after class. And he's like, "You got to come check this out." And we come back, and he's opening this box, and he's got this pulley system, and he's attaching it to the rig, and he's testing it out with this new piece of kit, and he's like, "Oh, jump on, Cory, you got to do it." And then I'm immediately jumping in, and the other trainers are jumping in, and it was like we knew each other first of
Yeah,
all for years, but it was just so funny how excited the team got on just a new piece of equipment. And I was like,
yeah,
that's kind of where I knew I was in the right place. I was like, this company's ran by trainers. It's ran by
mm.
people that love this and breathe this, and I felt like home right away.
Yeah. It's funny because that was like I was super pumped to show you that. To be quite honest, I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this, like but that was so natural. That wasn't anything to prove a point, or there's nothing like that. It was like, you know, that's the way the office is,
Yeah.
and I think everyone was pretty excited um about you coming on board, and I probably kept it under wraps a little bit just while we got our both got across it. But I think once I told the office, they were pretty pumped, and I think the one piece of it I've made pretty clear to them straight away was um, obviously they all kind of had a good indication of who Cory was and what you've done in the past and where you're coming from. And it's probably 2 points of this is I guess it's a credit to you to leave one of the biggest juggernaut fitness industry franchises ever, to be quite fair, and come back to Sydney and jump on with the yard and have that ability to kind of just be as humble as you are and then rip in from the get go. I think it's a credit to you to handle that and do it professionally. But I did make it very clear to the team. It was very clear that you've got a lot more than what I think you've done in the past. You've got a lot more to offer. So the first thing for everyone was to welcome Cory and test him out on a few workouts and show him the pulley system, but also to learn, and I think that's one big thing is to learn and to work together
Yep.
to achieve that, to achieve that goal. So the next one of that's why you're going to be the head of global growth, the official title. How does that feel?
Honestly, it not stresses me out. I'm gonna speak freely here, like giving honest emotion. I was
Yeah.
like, I really am. I like what you say, and it aligns with me. And move with caution. And before even accepting that role, I really wanted to make sure that I was ready for that. And as very much I do feel ready, there's a lot of weight to feel like it's a big position with what you guys have created
Mm.
because having the relationships and the experiences that I've had with the current network, like these people are bought in and they expect nothing but amazing things from the TYG crew. And I think it's good pressure, and it's a good nervousness feeling because it kind of lights a fire in my ass to make sure that I'm continuously innovating and I'm
Hmm.
continuously contributing. And at the same time, I'm delivering the expectations that's needed to keep the company at the standard that you guys have created.
Hmm.
And so, it makes me nervous, and it made me humbled. First of all, I had to step back a little bit and be like, go back through my resume and go back through my experiences and like make sure that I am qualified. And, obviously at the time experience, like once I started immersing myself with the brand more and more and meeting with the team, obviously, my confidence is there. And now I feel in a position where I'm so excited for the future of this brand. And
Mm.
it feels like I've been here from day one. And that's not me trying to say that I am or take credit for what's already created, but it feels like everything that you and your team have positioned yourself to be right now is very much how I would have done it.
Yep.
And, I don't think I would have changed a thing. And I think we're on such a good path, and it's a healthy path. And I think you even say this best, you're just moving with caution, but, moving with intent and purpose. And yeah, it's especially, I know we're gonna kind of leeway into this first week, but this first week again was like an eye opener of
Mm.
what this brand can be just by now getting honest feedback from people really kind of all over the world, which is really exciting for our
Wow.
first VIP week. We've got people from multiple countries coming in, and hearing their feedback for the first time kind of just it reminds you of why we got into the business originally, and that's to help people. And even with some of the top fitness enthusiasts in the world coming through and saying the same thing, it just it puts everything aligned, and we're on the right path, and I think we've got the right team, and I'm excited.
I'm pumped. I mean, this week was like, I mean, it's already day 5 for us with this
Yeah,
VR. It's gone quick, but it was pretty, I'd say overwhelming to see these guys evolve. I
yeah,
think we just finished up one of the last kind of info sessions, I think, for the first week. Next week sold out as well, with VIPs of franchisees, prospects coming through. But I think today is we opened up the floor for the questions,
yeah,
and there was a family that came in week 1, and they were pretty nervous. I think I'd probably say, and
yeah,
but they hit these workouts and they didn't hold back. And that's one unique thing I think what we're doing is, with our prospects coming through, and also education and performance. It's all about training.
yeah,
We train together and we grow together. But today when we opened up the floor, yeah, it was a husband and his wife and his daughter, and I forget what he said exactly, but you could see the emotion like coming out of him.
yeah. Almost,
It's
yeah.
I thought, "Oh, is he gonna like?"
I thought you could cry.
So did I, and
In a good way,
yeah,
like a moving type of way.
yeah, I think, and I could kind of read him in a way where I felt like it brought his family together a little
Yeah,
bit. And we saw that, we spoke about it during the week.
yeah. He literally, it was a simple statement. He literally said, "When I first walked in here, I didn't know what to expect, and
Mm.
I wasn't fully convinced." And he literally followed that up by, "But now I absolutely love it. I'm
Yeah,
all in."
yeah,
And it was just simple like that. But I mean, he was sitting right in front of me, and I remember he got a little teary eyed.
yeah,
And we've had a lot of like moments that throughout the week, which is
yeah.
really cool. And again, it kind of brought me back, and I know it probably brought that you back to just like the OG trainer days when you first worked with a client and they first hit a PR, or they first got
Mm.
their first results, and you have that connection and that relationship when you're like, yeah, this is the business I was meant to be in. And again, today going through that, we had a lot of good connections with people, and who knows, they might be the right fit, they might not be, but I think it was an informative week and a bonding week for all of us where we're taking something from it.
Yeah, and I think that's the exciting part for us is there's a level of trust between each other. I think we're thinking that everyone's on the same page, and this is going to be, and today confirmed, there's going to be a network, a franchise network, in the fitness industry with boutique training spaces that are a bunch of absolute weapons.
Yeah.
And today confirmed it. I was like 100%. And the level of trust and consistency, I think, is probably the biggest thing too. Is like even between us, it's like we might be doing a chat over the last few months in like Broome and on the Wild West tour and in all corners now in San Diego, but we're standing there and like someone asks a question, you answer it, but it's like I think that's exactly what I would have said, so I think having the consistency from the very top, and all the way through to the franchisees, and I think if we can do that, then the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and I really I respect. I mean, the whole team. I respect what we do and the philosophy behind the business. But I think something that I've learned is this is very much a customer based product, and I think for a lot of fitness companies, sometimes you lose sight of that. And I don't know if you lose sight of that because of the excitement of the brand involvement or the evolution or the innovation of the brand. And I think something that we do really well here, your team's done really well, is we kind of work backwards from the customer experience, right? So you've built an amazing foundation, and we have an incredible product, and the proof of concept's there, and people are loving it. And now it's just time to show the world. I think it was a huge turning point of this VIP week, and I know this is something that was kind of it's something second nature. We've done it for the past 3 years, but the immersion group on that Thursday, where we all went through that game day session, and you can just see it in people's eyes where it became real.
Yeah,
That was a turning point where people they realized like, holy shit, this is this is happening.
this is real deal.
Yeah,
Real life.
And I think it was a huge turning point for everyone because it put themselves in the customer's shoes to understand, what they're going through during the session so we can better ourselves as coaches and fitness enthusiasts to make sure that their experience is the best it's possibly been. So once they walk out that door, they're going, wow, like
Mm.
I want more. It's addictive.
And I think that's from the clients, but also like we're starting to see aligning industries wanting to align,
Yeah.
and it all starts from that product and the happy customer.
Yep.
And if our customers keep coming back, the studios, their retention's through the roof, their growth's incredible, but we're seeing all these other industries coming to us and like wanting to align. That's e-commerce, you got retail,
Yeah.
athletic wear. Everyone is like, we want to be involved, whether it's from a nutrition point of view, a supplement point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that you're staying in our lane, but we're also being very open with aligning ourselves with like-minded individuals in the space.
Hmm.
I think for too long, the fitness industry is kind of I'm better, you're better, compete type thing. But
Hmm.
there's just been a gap of people working together and kind of understanding where their strengths are. And something that you said that I loved, it was, and I agree with this, is you definitely want to, play to your strengths, but also kind of upskill your weaknesses. And I think, what we're coming to is play to our strengths and then partner with other people that, kind of uplift our
Hmm.
weaknesses and have that collaboration because there are plenty of people in the world that need this, and there's no sense of individuals like us and other businesses to not work together and not better each other. And a little friendly competition didn't hurt anybody either.
No,
You
that's
know.
right. That's right. And off the back of this week, I think, I'd probably like to say thank you to all the VIPs for coming out,
Yep.
spending the week and not holding back. We said to them in day one is like, don't hold back, rip into these sessions. You told them to rip into every single turf, rig workout, every payday, every game day. I think a lot of them did the Pilates workouts as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Which they thought they were getting a little bit of rest.
for not holding a plank for 2 minutes off the bat. But yeah, I think they've done an incredible job. I've loved it. It's gone so quick. I'm pretty happy we've got week 2 rolling around.
I am too. I honestly am bummed. The group it's been a tight group and we've had a lot of good bonding experiences and now it's coming to an end. It's almost like want it to end to a certain degree. I mean, I'd like to maybe have a day off with the training, maybe.
The training's been
Maybe a beer
intense. We're definitely we're
or two.
definitely
I don't know.
we're definitely getting a lot fitter. We say it's time to buckle in because
Yeah.
it's about to take off and we're super, super excited and we can't wait to meet all the future franchisees and the prospects and we can't wait to deliver this brand product and get to every corner of the world because it's something that I think the world needs. We've found a very, very exciting piece of the market. We've got the right people making the right decisions and, mate, head of global growth. Let's
And
get after it.
before we end this too, just curious because I've never heard it from you. And I was like, what's your feedback
Here
been?
we're going to turn the questions.
Yeah, I want to wait till the end.
Yeah,
I just was curious. Like, I hope that I've delivered upon expectation, and just curious on your end. And I
Mm,
know you've had your little conversations with Tian and your
yeah.
conversations with Nat and the other team. And how is this partnership aligned with you? And are you happy?
I think it's the best thing I've ever done. I've finally got a training buddy, and he's a bit stronger than me, but I think you've been. Well, I mean, again, I think you've been amazing for the office. We're pretty female dominant,
Yeah, for sure.
and they do an amazing job. So thank you to our team,
Yeah.
and thank you to everyone out there at home and rocking the yard for us. But mate, I'm super pumped. I think it's I've never from the moment, to be fair, if I ever had any type of doubt off that Zoom and I probably wouldn't have went through with it.
Yeah.
And I think I was confident from day one. And I think you've only added value. You've definitely added value to me. And I just can't wait to see what the future holds. But I'm pumped. Global growth. I know you've got a little routine with a little flex involved.
A little flexing routine.
You little flex ahead of global growth.
Oh, am I supposed to flex right?
You did have one a few months ago. It's been a few months, but
Oh, I already forget. I've already moved on
you've
from
already
flex.
moved on. It got too serious already. But mate, I'm pumped about it. Yeah.
Am I meant to flex?
Over the head of global growth.
Oh.
Keep onto the camera, go.
Got it. Got it. I still know. Am I supposed to finish?
You're flexing your leg.
Oh, I had a global growth.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll cut that part. But
No, it's staying in.
mate, I'm pumped. I appreciate it. I can't wait to see what the future holds, and buckle in because I think it's going to rock it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, and big shout out to TYG, and of course you, and very happy to see where this goes, and ready to get to work.